It's Tuesday, November 24, and time for your Barbados Today Evening News Update. Police are on the lookout for two armed gunmen who attempted to rob Shopsmart Express at Worthing, Christchurch this evening. During the incident, a male employee was shot. Acting Inspector Police Public Relations Officer Rodney Innes provided this update at the scene.
On arrival, we did confirm that a 24-year-old employee was shot twice, at least twice. The extent of the injuries we are unsure about at this stage. We're still going to check with our medical counterparts. We were also told that two men entered the establishment and demanded money, and there was a confrontation. Police are here at the scene, and we're conducting our investigations. We will update you as soon as we have further details to do so. But at this stage, as you can appreciate, information is still sketchy. There are some rumors. We want to get facts, get our facts straight, and we will put out a media statement, and we will obviously ask for the public's assistance in getting us to get the culprits in police custody.
In other news this Tuesday, frustrated G4S employees served notice they've had enough, staging a work stoppage this morning demanding better working conditions. The workers lament that persistent efforts to have their grievances addressed have been falling on deaf ears, and they must now take a stand.
They owe us money every time we go to money. That every time we want to raise a pay, then we raise a pay, and then we gotta work hard. We gotta work every 60 hours and still ain't getting the money. And when the time comes, money cut. And then they're telling you about one, and then they're writing a job letter for you, telling you that you work for three something a week. But still, it is more than three something a week. This is time that we have to put the effort and try and get the money.
I want to encourage every G4S officer out there who think that they are not in the union or in the union and they are afraid that they would lose their job and those kind of things. It's not going to happen. I am asking you, every one of you, to come out in numbers so that we can fight for our right. It has been long enough. There have been too much victimization, too much unmanliness and rudeness happening to us throughout the years. We are fighting for our rights. Proper holiday pay. If we are working 60 hours, we have the right getting pay 40 hours a week. We have the right being home all 3 weeks, and our holiday money ain't come to us yet because we have families. We are not getting proper uniform to work in on time. They don't even having a meeting in our location where we work so that we can give out our grievances.
There's about 8 years now that we haven't had an increase. The management had promised to submit a raise proposal to the union. To date, they has not done that. What they're saying, they haven't made a profit, so they can't afford an increase. The cost of living in Barbados is very high, and what we are currently getting cannot cut it. Also, the hours of work, where we get unstable rosters. Some people get 2 and 3 days. We are all paid workers, and the system of paying us, if you cut hours, you're going to cut wages. And we keep telling them that, but they are so insensitive to this that they continue to do it. Then there's the other issue of vacation. You cannot get your vacation annually. And when you do get your vacation, you go on full pay, and you get difficulty in getting that your wages. Also, the treatment where the recruiting persons as security guards, calling it by different title and paying them less than the negotiated rate. This is an injustice. And we are saying that there's equal pay for equal work.
The matter is said to be before the Labour Department, and Industrial Relations Officer of the Barbados Workers Union, Shakita Williams, insists the workers deserve better.
This is a cry not only at the domestic level, but this is a cry across the globe, even at the international level. The General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union has made it a priority for us to fight for workers, lobby for workers in this time, particularly those within the security industry, within the domestic worker industry, within the gas station service industry as well. These workers are ones that are often missed, and they have unfortunately been covered with a veil. And it is time that we remove that veil so that the public can know the value that they have. For too long, we've been hearing that the security officers are not given the salaries that they deserve. Sometimes when they interact, even in the public, they're not treated with the respect that they ought to be treated, and that's unfortunate because they risk their lives like any other industry that conducts security work.
There were protests of a different kind at the Lawrence T. Gay Memorial Primary School today. Parents demanded answers about the school, which has been closed amid reports of persistent environmental problems.
My issues that I have in is that you had an environmental report that was done March prior to COVID shutting down the island, and we had school start back in September, and parents thought that everything was okay. And since the start of school, this is week 10 now, and children been going homesick every week. Every week you had 4 children, 12 children. Things with children vomiting, children with bumps on the eye, rashes on the skin. Parents think that was associated with something at the home and not knowing that the issues at the schools were not fixed.
The ministry is not informing parents. On Friday, Monday, Tuesday, there was nothing in the news, and I'm seeing children here. About Friday saw 2 young children, and I understand today there's a class 3 here, which means that he could be subject to anything. You don't know what the fumes are there, was the reason the school is closed, but he's inside the premises right now. And on Friday when I saw those 2 little children, yes, I saw people helping them and everything, but I have prayed to God that they're all with good intentions. But I don't understand why the ministry does not announce it. Are they afraid of letting people know that the school is closing? When you're doing it like that, and people just drop off their child or they send them on the bus, they come here, and there's no one to attend to them. Luckily this boy today, there is someone here. But it's probably because of the protest today. But those children saw on Friday, there was no teachers or anything because the school was closed.
Education Minister Cynthia Bradshaw, however, assured authorities are working tirelessly to solve the issues plaguing the school. She disclosed plans to hold a virtual meeting with staff and parents on Friday. Bradshaw said all investigative tests have been completed and face-to-face classes at the school will resume next Tuesday.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, in the Bahamas, the country's tourism minister says business is slowly returning to the island, but he warns that the failure of some Bahamians to adhere to COVID-19 protocols could put expected recovery in jeopardy. More in this report from ZNS News.
November 1st marked another attempt at opening our borders to international visitors since the COVID-19 pandemic in March. And so far, says Minister Diaguila,
we are seeing a trickling back of foreign visitors into our country. We are encouraged that at least Atlantis and Bahama are going to reopen on the 10th and 17th of December, respectively. So we're looking forward to thousands of Bahamians going back to work.
That good news, however, could all be in jeopardy if all Bahamians do not adhere to the health and safety guidelines to mitigate against the risk of COVID-19 infections increasing. While the numbers have gone down considerably as of late in both COVID infections and hospitalizations, the tourism minister is vexed and concerned.
You know, our number one economy is tourism. It generates at least 50% of all economic activity in the country. It employs 2 out of every 3 Bahamians. And if we are a destination that's full of COVID and we have a significant amount of COVID cases, we're not going to be attractive as a place to visit. And that impacts jobs, that impacts livelihoods, that impacts your ability to live with dignity and have a job. So please, you know, I cannot beg the Bahamian people enough. These young people who are getting together and congregating and having all of these parties, it's very, very frustrating to those of us that have dutifully stayed in our homes and done what we're supposed to do and suffered to see this wanton disregard for the rules of that have been laid down as it relates to living with COVID.
Further afield in the U.S., COVID-19 has now engulfed rural and small-town America. As we hear in this report from Reuters Television, many hospitals are severely lacking in beds, equipment, and most critically, clinical staff, including specialists and nurses.
Cases and hospitalizations are spiking nationally, but reported case rates in the Midwest are more than double that of any other region in the U.S., according to the COVID Tracking Project, up more than 20 times from mid-June to mid-November. Many Midwestern hospitals severely lack beds, equipment, and clinical staff, according to Reuters interviews with medical care providers and public health officials in the region. Some are repurposing areas to accommodate COVID-19 patients, or cramming multiple patients into a single room, and are asking staffers to work longer hours and more frequent shifts. Hutchinson Regional has 190 beds and only 18 in the intensive care unit. Due to staffing shortages, ICU charge nurse Christy Sork has been working night shifts, which she doesn't normally do.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.